How's it going, everyone? Sir Douglas here with a brand new video, and today I'm going to call back to the last Upon Sober review when I said this team for 2025 is cooked. We were blue rare after Ottawa. After this past Friday night, we've moved to rare. Upon Sober review, Toilet Bowl 4, Edmonton 28 to Toronto 20. Considering the news from earlier from that day about the CFL's and MLS East plans for the Argos due to the displacement from BMO Field for the FIFA World Cup, the fans needed a boost. Instead, the team decided to kick them in the teeth. Yeah. So, for this season, the Good Ship Argo, very clearly the Good Ship Argo is a submarine. Have they hit bottom, or are they going to go and just keep on going and ultimately just get crushed? Take it down to periscope depth, 5-degree down bubble. Three new players this week making their Toronto debut on Friday night. Brandon Dozier, Brandon Kemp, and Spencer Moore. Mark Milton and George Moore, both on the one game this week due to injuries, and Kalen Laybourne got told to fuck off after the previous Sunday losing to Ottawa. It was on to the game summary. It was a cold summer evening in the land of ever winter and never Christmas. Attitudes for both teams were the polar opposites. Edmonton, full of confidence after defeating the Montreal Alouettes. Toronto, on the other hand, just keep finding ways to lose. They had one win in the last 5, repeated chokeaway defeats. That's done a number on the psychology of the reigning and defending champions. Toronto starts with the ball, and the first play could have been a sign of things to come. Nick Arbuckle forced a scramble, but he was taken down at the line of scrimmage, so no sack. But then the duality of this whole situation, as the very next play he launches one, given a good chunk of time. Nick Arbuckle did launched a deep ball, found Dave Ungerer III. 2 plays in, and they got into scoring position. A further 2 plays, they're now first and goal. So we do what we do. First and goal. Arbuckle looking for a coaxie, couldn't haul it in. Would have been a spectacular one-handed catch if he did, though. Second and goal. Arbuckle pays homage to his counterpart, Cody Fajardo, and his pass hit the uprights. Dead ball. So, and here's the thing. He had Dave Ungerer III wide open in the end zone. Just the 13th receiver, the 13th defender, got in the way. So Argos ended up settling for a Liram Hajrullahu field goal, and it was a 3-0 lead for Toronto. Edmonton then started their opening drive of the game from the 40, and we see what we see from the Argo defense. Just couldn't stop the run. Justin Rankin showed what he can do, combined with a Jordan Williams penalty for a face mask, which it was, no doubt about it. I'm not arguing that at all. Edmonton threatens, but their drive ended up stalling. They kick a field goal, tied at they were all square at 3. Toronto then gets the ball back, and Jared Brinkman bit on the hard count. Now, normally when you see the hard count from from the offense, it's pretty much at like the 5-yard line on a 3rd and goal. but he bit on this one, so ended up. McMahon got the ball on the 3rd and 5. On the 1st and 5, it was short. Run game didn't really get going here. Second down was also short, so they ended up calling the high percentage play, the quarterback sneak, to get the first down. After all that, nothing else. So all that build up for nothing. So ultimately, Toronto punts. Short return from Javon Leake. Edmonton gets the ball back. The Elks ended up going to the ground on the drive, and Justin Rankin's just bullying the Toronto defense right now. Bullies his way for a first down. Doesn't help. And it doesn't help that the defense is going for the strip all the time, as opposed to just wrapping him up and taking him down to the turf. McManus ended up getting banged up on the drive, and to be honest, he's been banged up all season. To the red zone now, and the new boy, Brandon Dozier, blew up a run in the backfield. Ultimately, the drive ended up stalling, and Vincent Blanchard from the 20. It's good. Oilers 6, Leafs 3. Toronto takes control once again from the 40-yard line, and Monte Coxie, despite the setback from last week, continues to make his case to be the top receiver this year. As he dazzles his way for a first down. However, the drive stalls once again. Arbuckle runs a carbon copy of the first play of the game, gets dropped just ahead of the line of scrimmage to prevent the sack, and the quarter ends with Edmonton leading 6-3. First play of the second, though, that lead was very short-lived as Liram Hajrullahu hits a 45-yard field goal, all square at 6. Both teams ended up trading 2-and-outs. Edmonton, however, when they got the ball back, they gave it right back to Toronto. Wynton McManus was ball hawking all the way. He got a great interception, instant field position for Toronto. But like they tend to do, got squandered. They inch closer, get to the red zone, ultimately stall out. But I am going to say this. There was a missed call. With CFL referees, I'm shocked. 2nd and 7, right? Kenneth Logan contacted Kevin Mittal, and looks like Mittal just kind of stopped and let the ball sail on by, but ultimately was incomplete. But I know I was asking this question, why the hell did Ryan Dinwiddie not challenge this? And then it kind of dawned on me. It's the meme. Replay center is going to see here through the flag. It's Ryan Dinwiddie who threw it? Fuck him. He gets nothing. Click. You could blame the coach for not challenging it, but after you've been stonewalled on these types of challenges not only all season, but your whole head coaching career, ultimately, you probably end up seeing this as a waste of a challenge. Liram Hajrullahu kicks a field goal, and it's now 9-6 Toronto. Edmonton goes 2-and-out after Jordan Williams blew up a run in the backfield as well. So Edmonton ends up punting the way, but then then we see something very uncharacteristic out of Janarian Grant. He tried to reel it in, the ball goes off his hand. So once it goes off his hand, the ball's now live. And he really struggled to get a hold of it. And Edmonton was right there trying to steal it. Ultimately, the Argos recovered it, but didn't go anywhere. He didn't go anywhere. He's inside, and he's basically inside his own 10-yard line here. Nearly muffed it, but he recovered it. Offense, though, did nothing with it. Just went 2-and-out. Just went 2-and-out. Haggerty punted the ball, and it looks like the wind caught the ball or something and basically cut the distance out of it. Edmonton gets it on the one hop and gets a half-decent return into Argo territory. Then they put the pedal to the floor, get inside. That's his Edmonton, by the way. So they get inside the 10. 1st and goal on the 5. Cody Fajardo should have been sacked if the defense had some sort of attacking ability to wrap him up, but unfortunately he ends up getting to like the 2 or 3 or something like that. But then 2nd down, he just gave it to Justin Rankin, and he just scampers into the end zone. He could have moonwalked into the end zone. That's how bad that was. Extra point was good. Edmonton now takes the lead 13-9. Just over a minute to go in the first half. Sorry. Toronto gets a decent return from Janarian Grant off the kickoff, and now I don't know. I think this is part of the plan because what they're doing, because the Argos start moving into the game plan that you see, just get in a field goal range so Liram can boot it through and get some a little bit of momentum going into the half. This time, you didn't get this. You didn't get that. But here we go again. So 2nd and 2, Nick Arbuckle threw it to Dejon Brissett. Cordell Jackson comes in with a full head of steam and hits Brissett a little low, causing him to tumble and take a header into the Commonwealth Field turf. The initial call on the field was unnecessary roughness due to a low hit on vulnerable receiver. The flag was picked up, saying the hit was above the knee. So no flag, and it's 3rd down Toronto. I had to really slow this down to have a look. Initial point of contact was not the thigh. It was the knee. How in the holy mother of fuck was the contact on above the knee? This was second blown call of the game for the referees. Another one that goes into Edmonton's favor. Argos forced the punt. Edmonton couldn't get it out of the end zone, so it's a punt single for Toronto. So 13-10 Edmonton lead. Edmonton starts from the 40, gets in a field goal range for Vincent Blanchard. He misses the 52-yard attempt. Janarian Grant, though, we finally see what he gets around. Gets around just about everybody. You'd think he's in the clear. Final blocker gets the tiniest piece of him. He stumbles, goes to ground at the Argo 50 to end the half. So a little bit of pulse raising, but unfortunately the Argos trail 13-10 going into halftime. Second half begins, though, and Ryan Dinwiddie must have said something to the defense because game got physical now. Isaac Darkangelo, for starters, absolutely detonated Arkell Smith on a kick return. Very next play, you see Derek Sluka shows Curly Gittins Jr. what's up. Winton McManus tackle on a scrambling Cody Fajardo led to a 2-and-out for Edmonton. So Toronto gets the ball back. Private had the promising start. Deshaun Brissett gave the fans a bit of a heart attack in the wrong sense when he had the ball and it was punched loose. However, he was able to recover and maintain control, so we got a first down. They get inside the 10, great pass to get inside the 10 with a great pass to David Unger III. First and goal, Arbuckle gets flushed from the pocket, pump fakes, lobs one in double coverage. Now on the pass, when I saw it, I thought, oh shit, this is going to be a pick. But no, Jake Herzlow comes up with it, touchdown Toronto. Extra point was good, and the Argos take a 17-13 lead. Defense takes over now, and Derek Sluka on a second down pass from Cody Fajardo to Steven Dunbar. He just goes full speed into him. Just absolutely runs him over. But ultimately, it's still the Justin Rankin show. He ultimately gets the first down, and then we see another big hit from the son of Kratos, Cameron Judge. He's on a scrambling Cody Fajardo. That ultimately stalls the drive. Blanchard's field goal is good. Argos take a 6, and Argos' lead is now very slim at 17-16. Now the Argos take over. Camera actually lost the first play of the drive, but it was Jake Herzlow getting a nice first down. Drive, however, stops dead as Edmonton's pass rush got in on forcing Arbuckle to scramble up the field. Haggerty's punt ultimately bobbled by the Edmonton returner, but he recovers. So a little bit of a control issue on the punts today. And good field position for the Argos. Actually, no, not for the Argos. For the Argos. Yeah, sorry. Ultimately forced a 2-and-out. Haggerty's punt is bobbled by the Edmonton returner, and he was able to recover. But the Argos actually have good field position to work with. Ultimately, they ended up getting a 2-and-out, and the Argos get the ball back. Kevin Mittal on a nice little sweep play gets to the red zone on the first play. Then disaster. Jake Serezna forces the fumble. Robbie Smith, the 2022 hero, recovers it for Edmonton as the third comes to a close. It's a 1-point game, but the Argos still lead. But yeah, it's disaster for Toronto, but delight for the Elks. So they take advantage of the turnover. Cody Fajardo finds Steven Dunbar a good 3 yards away from his coverage in the back of the end zone for an Elk touchdown. Although funny part on that one is insult to injury. Cameron Judge gets nailed with a roughing the passer call because of a late hit. Doesn't matter. The extra point is good. 23-17, Elks regain the lead. Ensuing kickoff thanks to the penalty was not returned out of the end zone for a kickoff single. It's now 24. Now Elks have a 7-point lead. Argos are reeling at this point, and I mean they're rocked. They're rocked pretty hard. But Nick Arbuckle, despite tons of pressure from the Elk defense, remained accurate. He's finding receiver after receiver on the drive, gets inside the red zone after starting at the 40, but close to no cigar. That's because second down, Elks go in cage 8. Arbuckle throws a ball, but it can't get back to the line of scrimmage, therefore gets nailed with intentional grounding. Yeah, them's the breaks, I guess. Forces the Argos to kick the field goal. It's now 24-20. Elks still lead. Elks from the 40, and defense is gassed at this point. Get the Toronto territory easily, but was forced to kick a field goal. It's no good, but not returned out of the end zone. It's 25-20 Edmonton lead. Going inside the 3-minute warning now, and this is the cue for the Argos to pack their shit and get home. They think, three-minute warning? Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. So offense goes 2 and out. The punt, or rather lack thereof, by John Haggerty, led to a turnover on downs very deep on Toronto's side of the field. It was a high snap, but you'd figure that the Aussie rules experience would have kicked in and he would have launched it on the run. You have to get the ball away. This was just a straight... This is a very rare miss by Adam Guillemette, the long snapper. Like, he's been money all the time, and this is the first time that we've made a mistake, and it was a costly one. Elks go clock management to get a first down, but that's the only one they needed. They attempted a field goal. The first one was missed, but Toronto called outside. Re-kick was good. And now we're at the penultimate scoreline of 28-20, but the game's not over yet. Just over a minute to go in the game, the ensuing kickoff led to Jake Herslow taking the return. Kind of bobbled it, but he attempted the Super Mario jump again. Led to nothing, but he was called for unnecessary roughness. Now, okay, I would understand if he made contact with his foot. I would understand if he full on Antonio Brown the one of the defenders, but he didn't. He was hit as he was attempting a hurdle. What the fuck, dude? Are you fucking serious? Seriously, there was no contact on it. Watch a replay. The foot didn't come anywhere near close to a defender. And if it did, it was maybe just yeah. So they were playing letter of the law here. And I'm like, you weren't doing that all you weren't doing that all game, because there would have been a shit ton more penalties on Edmonton if you were. I'm just saying. So now because of that, long field for Toronto to try and get back into it. Still weren't done even after all this, by the way. So Arbuckle trying to pry the game from the jaws of defeat, despite the penalty, gets to the Elks side of the field. 38 seconds left, right? Arbuckle to Coxie. Tyrell Ford comes in for the tackle. This was very scary, by the way. Comes in from a solid 2 yards before the ball gets to DeMonte. That's already a DPI call, which wasn't called. Coxie goes ass over tea kettle and gets knocked the fuck out. But because Coxie jumped to get the ball, there was no unnecessary roughness on that. Good Lord, to me at this point, they're telegraphing that Edmonton's winning and it was in the script the whole time. That's what I was getting from this. Now, final nail in the coffin. Final nail in the coffin here. 29 seconds left. Arbuckle to Herslow, incomplete. Yet, shout out to Janine and Michaela, mouchoir sur le terrain. Flag on the play. Flag on the field. DPI called on Herslow. Now, Mark Kylam challenged it. And from the replays that I saw, that we all saw, there was nowhere near enough to overturn it. And it was determined very quick. It was overturned. game over. Now, like I said, it just seemed like it was in the script for Edmonton to win. Now, to be fair, the Argos made enough mistakes throughout this game that they didn't need the refs dogpiling on them too. I still don't, and I think a lot of people are going to ask this, I still don't understand why the league isn't taking a page from the sport that gave birth to it, rugby, and have a mic'd up television match official. I'm certain if we had that, we'd understand why the decision, why they decided to cut the broadcast right at the stroke of midnight, right when Edmonton was in the lead, Argos pressing, and nothing left. Now, for the sake of all of that, I've already gone through it, but here's the bullet points as to the mistakes the Argos made to contribute to the loss. Okay? Arbuckle hitting the crossbar. Janarian Grant to that little stumble after the very tiny little shoestring tackle. The drop ball by Mittal in the end zone when he was looking for a DPI. Arbuckle fumbling the football in the red zone with the Elks taking 7 points. Taking 7 points off the Argos there. The offside on the field goal, on a missed field goal. Haggerty's brain fart after the high snap, and simply just not containing Justin Rankin. Congratulations, boys. 2-16 is an absolute possibility. Now, to be fair, that if you want to try and, have a little bit of fun this week with regards to the football game as well, it's the annual CNE game. So if you buy a ticket for the Argo game, you gain access to the Canadian National Exhibition Grounds for free. And there's always a lot to do at the CNE. There's all sorts of there's like a craft zone and there's lots of shopping. You also have the Midway. You got the food building, which is going to be open, and they're going to be fully involved with all sorts of stuff. So go check it out. It's honestly, if you've never gone, go. It is actually a really good time. And then on top of all that, you'll have the gates open at 10. The game starts at 3, so I think the gates at BMO Field are going to open at probably 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. And then after the game is over, you can either, if you have tickets, you can go see Blue Rodeo over at the Budweiser stage, or at the Band Shell, you can go see 98 Degrees. They're going to be playing there too. Plus, as well, everything in the park is still going to be open until 10 o'clock at night. So if you have the hankering, like I usually do for Tiny Tom's Donuts at this point after the game, and I'll probably end up getting at least 5 or 6 dozen of them, maybe more depending on how the game goes, by all means, go check it out. It is honestly a fun time. But that's going to do it for me. That's going to do it for me from here this week. Instant reaction, once again, coming up against BC. Go check it out as we get closer, because next week, it's Hamilton's free win day next week. That's right. Labor Day Classic coming up next week. But for now, let's get through BC. Until at some point next week when I get around to doing this, we'll talk to you again soon. Cheers, everyone.